Welcome everyone to another episode of Aussie Mac Zone. How are you going this week? This episode is for the week of the 20th of January 2015, so I hope it sees you well. It is brought to you by Aussie Tech Heads Web Hosting, athwebhosting.com.au. Australian servers, 99.5% uptime guaranteed. Hey, you won't get much better than that. And what else? Very fair pricing, if I do say so myself. So... well, you know what pricing's like in Australia with Telstra controlling all the bandwidth, but it's as good as I can get you. All right, athwebhosting.com.au, go and check it out. Good stuff. All right, now tonight we're going to talk about stories for a surprise, something different, eh? And to help me do that, let's go and check in with Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Glenn.
Hello.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yes, yes. What's been going on? Anything exciting with you?
Nothing exciting that I can think of, mate.
No,
not yet.
Just work, and more work.
More work, yeah. But getting closer. I just nearly finished a project, and every day is a little bit more excitement as I learn something.
Oh.
Still learning, so I'm happy to keep learning.
Yeah, so I look forward to the day where I know it all, because then I wouldn't have to, Google.
Listen to our wife.
Well, that's right. I've already gone deaf in that ear, so I'm getting there. Now, look, we've got some stories. Jace isn't with us this week. He tells me we get a text before the show. How's this? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't attend the show. I'm in Cairns. I'm so sorry.
He travels nearly as much as you do.
Yeah, but I don't travel anywhere exciting. I just travel around Robina. He's around Queensland. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. No, that's right.
I don't have any 3G service. I can't attend the show tonight. I'm sorry.
The self-driving car broke.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully Jace will be back next week. So Jace, get some stories going, and good stuff. We'll see you next week. Now, where are we going to start? Let's start with PC shipments have dropped. They've been dropping for a while. Every quarter we hear this, PC shipments have dropped, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you listen to me on the other show, Aussie Tech Edge, you've heard my rants about all this. I reckon, yes, PC sales are dropping because tablets are taking over, and not only just that, it's because the PCs, as they're getting... You can use probably now still like a 4 to 6 year old PC, and you can still put like Windows 7 on it. And this sort of stuff. So the computers have got a longer lifespan than they used to. And so now I guess that's my reasoning for why they're falling. But anyway, this story goes, the worldwide market for PC shipments dropped 2.4%. Oh, tragedy. Apple totaled 5.7 million units shipped during the fourth quarter, which was a 7.1% market share. So that's not too bad. 5.7 million units. That's a lot of... MacBooks and Mac Pros and whatever else there is, isn't it? That's huge. This represents a 19% increase from the fourth quarter of last year, 2013. So that's a massive increase, Michael. What do you put that down to?
It's getting up there, isn't it? It's
Well, I reckon. Well, my take on it, why it's increasing, is it's subtle advertising. I don't know if you've noticed, just about every show you see, there's MacBook Pros sitting on the desk. Neighbours is full of them. Just about every little show you see, everyone's got an Apple, and then you turn on to. It's just like Hawaii 5.0. They're a Windows sort of a show, but there's so many shows, and Apple is sort of every time you see a laptop, you just know, and you can see the little Apple. So I reckon that's got probably a lot to do with it. I think they're marketing quite smartly. Is that what would your take be on the increase?
Well, it seems to be a big increase year over year, and I don't know why. I don't know. Is it the people that just got fed up with XP and finally had to buy something and then decided to buy an Apple, do you think?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I suppose maybe it's only 7.1, was it 5.7 million units, 19% increase. Well, XP's been dead for a little while. Well, I just think it's just the advertising. I really do. Despite that ad that Microsoft's been putting out, have you seen that ad? The Surface versus the MacBook. Yeah, it's quite a funny little ad, really.
Well, but first they've tried to verse the iPad, still didn't make any impression.
No.
Then they're trying to verse the MacBook Air.
Yeah.
And are we still ready for combined units? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I think that the only where Apple wins, hands down, is iTunes, the App Store, and the whole ecosystem. Hands down, that's where it wins. You turn over to the Windows ecosystem, it's pus. Like, it seriously is pus. It seriously is. There's nothing there. And stuff that's there, it doesn't work. It is rubbish. It is absolutely rubbish. So, and now with the Mac, you don't just have the App Store for your tablet and your iPhone. You've got the App Store for your desktop as well.
That's right.
Yeah,
It just does all the upgrades, does all the product sharing.
Yeah. I think
because when you buy something in the App Store, you get it for 5 units, not for one.
yes.
You put it just like that. So
Yeah. So is that how it's...
I've got a little story. Yeah, I've got a little story about adding to that experience.
yes.
In our rundown, which I'll move up now. It's I went to the Apple Store today to buy a new Mac for one of my customers, and it was. I'll just get that. So
did you pay for it?
Yeah.
Out of your own pocket? Was he a good customer?
Yeah. Oh, a good customer.
Oh, so you actually bought it for him as a present?
No. I bought it and I invoiced them, right?
Right. Yes,
I invoiced them at what it cost me because the actual invoice is actually from Apple has already been sent to them in their name, right?
Yep.
So I've gone to the store this afternoon. I was greeted by the greeter as you walk in the door,
Is that what they call it? Is that the official term, the greeter?
Well, I think so.
Rita the greeter? Yep.
Rita the greeter, yeah. And then I said I want a MacBook Air, and she took me over to the MacBook Air table and advised me someone would be with me soon.
Yep.
So within 3 minutes, the sales guy came over and started with the sales pitch about what I want to use it for, etc. And I explained who I was, and I was buying it for an Apple business customer.
Don't you listen to me on the podcast? Do you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? Yes. Sorry.
So then, those little card swipers that they all carry around with them, he just looked up the customer's name, and then he entered the item that I wanted to buy. A couple of minutes later, a MacBook Air just appeared. Some guy bought it out from out the back. He didn't ask anyone to bring it out.
Poof. There it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paid by my card.
Yep.
Invoice to the customer.
Yep.
Done. And I was out of there. But
wow.
It would have been 10 minutes max.
Do you get
and it was all polite and nice and easy. And
good.
And if we didn't chat for another 5 minutes, I would have been out there within 10 minutes,
Now, do you get the clap for a MacBook Air?
I had the clap. I don't need it just for that.
you got to buy something bigger, have you?
Yeah, I think so. It's all in the day. I went the wrong day.
Oh, okay. No.
But that was just how easy it is.
Yeah.
Especially for business customers where they don't have they've already got all your details. They just enter it in, like, boom, it's done.
Yeah, look, I had a good experience from the Apple Store and Apple in general last week. I've been having trouble with my little Apple TV. And around about 10 o'clock at night, just weirdly, it would just drop, like the Wi-Fi would drop, and then I'd have trouble reconnecting my, the AirPlay and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, this is crazy. Like, I've looked into it before, and it's just driving me insane. And so I thought I'll Google again, start looking around, see if there's a fix or what's going on. And so I come across this article, I think from TechCrunch or somewhere, and it said, there was a bad batch. Bad batch of Apple TV version 3s. I went, oh, no, could it be so? The problem was Wi-Fi drops. And I went, could it be true? And and so they listed the serial number. And yes, mine had the serial digits that was from the bad batch. So I ring up the old Apple line. And I get put through to someone higher because the little girl on the first level, she couldn't help. So I went through to someone else, and he's going, now, have you done this, you done that? I went, mate, I've put in a new router, I've put in this, I've put in that. I said, it's doing me head in. And he goes, yes, well, it is out of warranty. I went, well, yes, I know. But, I've just read this article saying there's a bad batch. Now, I'm thinking, if there was, wouldn't it have been nice for you to let me know? And then I wouldn't have had a headache for 2 years. And then I could have done something in warranty. And he goes, I know exactly what you mean. He goes, you go to your little local Apple store in Robina and you can pick one up. We'll swap it over for you. And went down the Robina, swapped it over. No questions asked. Easy. So that's
that's all part of the system. All part of it, isn't it? Like the whole experience is so easy.
Yes.
When you think... trying to get an Asus fixed or an Acer fixed or even a HP. Like HP, fantastic guys. Bring it into the to the workshop, and the same with who else was it? Acer. Great. Bring it in, leave it there for an unknown amount of time.
Yep.
And then they ring up and say it's ready. And they might ring up in 1 day. They might ring up in 4 days.
Yeah, but look,
it's ready. It's like, whereas the Apple Store, you got your Genius appointment. Sometimes you got to go back a couple of days later, but they ring you. They send you about 10 emails in between to say, like, the part's been ordered, the part's arrived, the machine's being worked on, the machine's being tested, the machine's ready to pick up. You know?
Oh, yeah. Look, customer service, you can't go better than the customer service from that place. I didn't even have to make an appointment for the Genius because this guy did it all at the back end, wherever he was, and he just said, when Glenn comes in to pick up a Apple TV, just give him one. He doesn't need an appointment, blah, blah, blah. The chick looked up my record, just went, bang, here it is, see you later.
See you later. How easy is that?
Yeah, it was easy as. But I did notice on the receipt that it said it had a price of, like, didn't charge me, but it had a price of $64. Yeah. Do you reckon
that's the exchange price? Like Apple, or every Apple product's got an exchange price.
As in what? The American? No, that'd be too much, wouldn't it?
No. That's the Australian exchange price. Like not the exchange as in dollar exchange.
Right.
Your
I see what you're saying.
Your iPhone, when you swap your iPhone over, even if it's in warranty.
Yep.
Right. There's an exchange price.
Yes. Right? I see what you're saying.
There's an outright price and exchange, right down to the motherboard inside your machine. It has, if you've tried to pull it apart yourself and broken it in half, you've got to buy it outright as one price. If it's failed and even if it's out of warranty, but is still available as a part, there's an exchange price.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so look, I was really happy with that, and now I've plugged it in, and so far, fingers crossed that's been working fine. I was stoked, and also because I thought when I don't think I've ever logged into the Apple site as such, with a username, password, or whatever, but it asked me to or whatever, and I did, and then everything that I've bought from the store was listed with serial numbers and everything. It's great. It was great. It was so easy. And so I've got a few other devices. I've got an iPad and I think another couple of things that haven't come from the store. So I'm now consciously going to go and enter them in, so they're in the one place. So I know if anything goes wrong, or I've got them all in the one spot.
And it'll also when you get your Apple TV changed, it'll show you what the new serial number is and when it happened. Your history is there.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I love it. Now, while I was getting new Apple TVs, you were following some diggers.
Some diggers, yeah. So I've got two little funny iPhone stories. So 3 men have tunnelled into a Beijing warehouse and made off with $300,000 worth of iPhones. So they got caught. The police in Beijing arrested 3 men accused of stealing 240 iPhone 6 units from a warehouse owned by a Chinese logistics firm after they dug a 20-inch hole through the building's wall.
Jeez.
So I'm guessing the maths that they're talking about was based on 128 gig models. But
now, my young person question here is how big is 20 inches?
How big is 20 inches? That's 24, about 500, about half a metre.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, bit over half a metre. So
I'd probably fit through that hole.
I'd get a leg through it.
All right. So there's a good little picture there. Sorry, keep going with your story.
Yeah, that's right. So in a separate case, a man tried to smuggle 94 iPhones from Hong Kong to mainland China under his clothes. Oh, God. So officials became suspicious because you seem to be walking funny. And when he actually see the photo, he'll understand. They're wrapped around his legs, top and bottom.
Yeah, it's like
wrapped around his groin. They're wrapped around his chest. So he would have been squeaking as he walked for a start.
Yeah, I hope they weren't on. Imagine him ringing. Imagine all them ringing.
I couldn't imagine him be able to sit down and get up easy.
No.
He must have stood up on the plane.
He had the Benny Hill ringtone on them all. The cops chased him through the airport. Oh, what an idiot! What an idiot!
Yeah, it takes all types, doesn't it?
So it says here he was walking funny. They're wrapped around his legs, top and bottom and groin. It's just crazy. He looks like a robot. Like and he's only a little dude too. Well, look at him. He doesn't look like he's a big dude. But crazy stuff.
That's why I reckon he must have stood up, because I remember, like I've been to Taiwan. I went to a computer show a long time ago, and I actually had to stand up. Like I sat down for takeoff and landing, but coming back from Taiwan to Hong Kong, I had to stand up because I was in the first row.
Right.
And like seriously, there was 10 inches between the seat and the wall for the pilots.
Oh, jeez.
Like my legs, wasn't enough room for my legs, so I just gave up.
That's no good, is it? Yeah, you should have upgraded to business class.
I was right at the front.
Oh, you were in business. Oh, you were in first class. Michael only travels first class. I forgot about that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
mind you, this was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's not very the leg room isn't too great, and I suppose on Taiwanese flights it's probably lesser, isn't it? Because they're only small little dudes. But look, when I went to the US, I was on a Virgin plane. I thought the leg room was fine. It was great. I loved it. Yeah. I was really happy with it. Yeah. B. Now,
sorry about that. That was a bit loud.
What was it?
That was the Benny Hill theme music.
Oh, it didn't come through here.
Didn't it?
No. Is that just why you're just bopping away by yourself? Is it?
It was very loud, but
I wonder why your wife patted you on the head like. All right, now we've got to stop talking about Benny Hill. The youngsters won't know what we're talking about, Michael. Hey?
No, I got no hope.
So I tell you, I said to my niece the other day, I said, you're lucky to have a TV in your room. I said, when I was your age, we were lucky to have black and white TV. She goes, what was that? What's that? Turn it up. I said, God, go away. Are you serious? They don't know. And now,
not a clue.
No,
not a.
And like, even if I said to my little girl now, I say, well, back when I was a boy, the TVs used to be square. She goes, really? They only know oblong ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, look, if you're at a loose end, why don't you tune into Aussie Tech Heads, another show on iTunes, and I'm on it, as unfortunately. And we're joined by another experienced panel who go through the week's tech news, not just Apple, but everything rolled into one, including Apple stories that come out through the week and whatever. A broad range. So jump on there, iTunes or your favourite podcatcher, and chuck us on. You can also catch us on the merry-go-round, if you like, on the Aussie Tech Radio. All shows, Aussie Mac Zone, Aussie Tech Heads, and a few other little Australian podcasts and a couple of New Zealand ones. We're all bundled up and just rotate 24/7, one after the other, on the AussieTechRadio.com. So you can have a check that one out. And Aussie Tech Heads, AussieTechHeads.com.au. Now, we're moving on to... here's one here. How's this bloke? iPhone 6 gets sent into space. Now, it was sent into space because it must have been some sort of promo for the Urban Arm or the Urban Gear. Now, this is a case, I suppose, and it's a military-grade case for your iPhone. And I suppose, I don't know what the actual specs are, but I suppose you can drop it, kick it, whatever you want, and it won't break. And so anyway, to prove how strong it was, the Urban Armour Gear hooked the iPhone up to a weather balloon rig, also included a GPS locator and 2 GoPro cameras. Don't talk to Apple about GoPro, touchy subject, for filming. Upon descent, the iPhone and the flight rig withstood 150 RPM rotation speeds, and at landing, the rig broke while the iPhone managed to remain unscathed. So apparently it was up around 101,000 feet. Now, again, I'm not sure how many metres that is, but I'd say 101. I think you get up about 50,000 feet in an aeroplane. That's about 13,000 metres, so say about 26, I don't know, say 30K. That'd be about right?
Yeah, I'll just do it for you while you...
All right. So it's up about 101,000 feet and was subject to 70-mile-hour winds. Now, I know what 70 miles is because my old car was in miles, and I used to, and it used to go up, and I think 65 was about 100k, so 70 miles an hour must have been, say, about 110k, something like that. So was subject to 110k winds, which is pretty fast, and temperatures dropped to minus 79. What is all this old stuff? Dropped to minus.
It's all American, mate. It's an American story. So 101,000 feet is pretty close to 31,000 metres.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't far off. That's good. Yeah. And, so the temperatures dropped. So the iPhone turned off because the temperatures dropped below minus 79 degrees Fahrenheit, which at a guess I'd have to say that's probably about minus 30 Celsius. Michael's just fact-checking that one, I think.
Minus 61.666.
Ooh, yeah, that's cold.
There you go.
That's frozen. So anyway, so the iPhone...
Pretty brisk, yes.
Yeah, so the iPhone came back to Earth and turned on. How good was that? Thawed out. Turned on, yeah. Yeah, so the iPhone was protected by an Urban Armour composite case, which promises military-grade protection. So, yes, after landing, the phone powered back on. It was fully functional, demonstrating the durability and solid construction of the device. Now, if you're looking for armour, military-grade protection for your phone, check them dudes out. I haven't got an address, but I'm sure you'll be able to Google it. Urban Armour Composite. Yeah. Have you've heard of these guys or know anything about them?
No, not this particular one, nah.
Yeah, well, they must be pretty good. Got in a bit of trouble?
Yeah, and it's... I'd love to be able to just do that, chuck something on a weather balloon and just set it off whenever you like.
Well, you might be able to grab one of those Google balloons. They're floating around all over the show. Just hook one of them as that comes along. You might be able to grab it with your selfie stick.
That's right, my selfie stick.
Hook it back in. Just like that. You got to just coincidence. You got a story about a selfie stick.
I've got a story about selfie sticks this week. So
how easy does this flow?
We're on it tonight, son. We're on it.
Good work.
So I bought a selfie stick this week.
Yeah,
and a selfie stick's an expandable tube with a rubber handle and a camera mount on the other end. So I got one from Jcar, and it was, they look like this sort of thing here. If I can hold it there.
Oh yeah.
And that was about $27 from Jcar. Yeah. And on the end of it, it's got a little bit of plastic that you can put on like a GoPro, again, the word GoPro type adapter, so that you can hold it out, while you're skiing down the mountain and show yourself smiling and carrying on or whatever. So that was $27. So then the same afternoon, I'm killing time, and I just walked into a $2 shop and found one with a little spring frame like this. Yeah. That you can actually put your phone in.
Yeah, I think I've got that thing. I think I've got that on mine. Yeah? Yes. Nice.
$5.
Oh, is that how much I'm worth? I got that for a Christmas present.
so I bought it, right?
Good stuff.
When I compared them when I get home, the actual selfie stick part, absolutely identical. Just that one had this little spring thing and one had the GoPro adapter, which is even less plastic than that on that spring thing.
Right. So you didn't take Jcar back?
I will. I haven't yet. Okay. So then cool. A couple of days later, I'm walking past one of those stalls in the middle of the shopping centre, with all the discount type things in them.
Yes.
And found the same one again for 1 for 20 or 2 for 35.
Yeah, right.
With the spring-loaded holder.
Yeah.
But it had a little cable on here that you plugged into the headphone socket of your phone.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which I think that's just in case this fails or it falls off or you do something wrong. Right. And hopefully it won't fall on the ground as fast.
Now tell me, you'd be all right if you had one of those Urban Armour things.
That's right, yeah.
Now tell me, have you hooked it up yet? Have you taken a selfie?
I haven't taken a selfie. I didn't get it to actually take selfies. I got it to mount my new camera from last week on and bring it just a bit lower than the normal Apple camera would be.
Right, good.
So it's sitting right in front of me now, holding my new webcam up.
Yeah, it's a nice little picture that one gives off too.
It is a great little picture that little Logitech gives off now. So
yeah, it's beautiful. It's so crisp, eh? But so just going back to your selfie thing, with mine, I couldn't get my little remote to pair. to pair up. That's why I asked you if you'd set it up or whatever. I couldn't.
No, but you just because it's got that selfie thing on the Apple camera in there anyway. You put it on timer and just hold it out in front of you.
Well,
5,
that's what
4,
I thought.
3, 2, 1, boom, takes a photo.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. But I've got a little remote, little Bluetooth remote.
Yeah.
I want to get me $5 worth.
Did yours come with a remote? Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, yours it must be hundreds of dollars. Yours must be.
Better be. Now I'll tell you what's going gangbusters. If you can believe this, this is a mighty story. Apple's iBook platform is seeing an average increase, well, it's seeing an average of 1 million new users per week. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, isn't it?
Would you think they'd be sort of munching together, say, phone or iOS activations, and because the iBooks is installed factory, then hey, there's another customer to iBooks. Do you reckon that's what's happening? Or do you reckon it is fair income that it's 1 million people?
Well, I would think maybe they're seeing at least people going to the iBooks app and searching for books. Whether they buy any, I know it does say customers, but whether they actually buy anything or whether they're just browsing through the store. If you're browsing through Myers, you're probably still a customer.
Okay, yeah, I suppose. Well, you would be, yeah.
Even if you don't buy anything, you're still walking through Myers. Yep. They consider you a customer. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's still a lot of extra people every week looking for something, isn't it?
So apparently the increase has also been put down to that the iBooks is now standard or factory / pre-installed with iOS 8, whereas previous versions it wasn't. And something I wasn't aware of actually is podcast is also pre-installed now as well, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, so we should be seeing 1 million new podcast people visiting our sites now.
Yeah, we're at the tipping point. We're on the tipping point. We're on the edge. It's like one of those machines, that you put the coin in and the coins move across.
Right. Just that little bit at a time.
Yeah, I went to Time Zone on the weekend and saw a couple of those machines. I just saw people playing them, and I thought, this is pretty much like gambling, isn't it? Like little kids were playing them. I thought, it's gambling. You're throwing money in, hoping to get more back. Like, yeah, it's I don't know if I like
Time Zone. I got less of a problem having them at Time Zone than I do when they have them at
Playgroup.
Nah, yeah, like RSL, like food near the food place at the RSL Club or the like Penrith Panthers and footy clubs and licensed premises, shall I? Where they've got poker machines, and next to that is like there's mum on the poker machine, and there's the kid playing. Doing the same thing, trying to win something.
Yeah, it's not right. So, it's not right. Yeah, but anyway, that's the way of the world, isn't it? I think it's you got to bring. Look, these things. Look, temptations all through life. Now, this is parenting podcasting information. If you bring your kids up right, well, these temptations won't bother you or them. So do the right thing by your kids. What did we? Because I told mine they weren't allowed to play it. Now.
As you were pouring money down there trying to get that Linux.
Oh, look at that great big spider. Ching, 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 ching.
A little penguin, so you can say, I've got to be Linux penguin. I'm right now.
That's right. They've also those claws that come down and pathetically try and pick up something. It's like a real limp handshake thing, isn't it? It's just a real just a filthy sort of a hook. Well, I call them donation machines. If you want to make a donation, you go.
That's right.
But they've got ice. You could do that with ice creams now. You put your money in and try and get an ice cream out. Like,
how's that work, man?
They must make some money off them, like to be able to afford to freeze the unit and and stock it and then make money out of it. There's a lot of people donating.
What makes you think there's actually ice cream in and it's frozen?
Well, it's probably just nothing. Milk. Now, all right. Now, where are we with you? We're doing friendly reminders. Okay, back to me. We'll do. we'll do a friendly reminder, just a friendly reminder that if you've got a product or something you want us to talk about, why not drop us a line, Michael or Glenn or Jason at aussiemaxzone.com.au. We'd love to have a look at something you've got. It doesn't have to be a physical product. It can be an app or something that you've created. I know a few people have contacted me through Facebook and said, hey, Glenn, have a look at this app that I made. And I had a look at it and I went, ooh, yeah, how cool is that? You're doing good. And also, you can also look if you've got something that may be sort of like tech related and you want to sponsor the show, feel free. Once again, contact us and we'll tell you what to do. It's we go out to you know that when you sponsor Aussie Max Zone, we are going out to exactly the person you want to grab because we're speaking to the fanboys of Apple, aren't we, Michael? That's the Apple fanboys. That's you and me, and you're speaking directly to us
through and through.
Through and through. That's not a derogatory term, is it? People are not going to get upset if I do that. Say that?
No. Can't they? How can they?
Yeah.
Because we are fans.
Yeah. I don't
we're different. We're a different breed of people.
Yeah, but look, I just love it. I just love the way that that you love the technology. I think it's great, and you just love it. All right, now what else have you got, Michael? You've got some. Nothing much. Oh, Apple Store in the US has done something.
What?
But we?
No. I was saying that I got sorry about the lack of daily news at Aussie Max Zone. Just that there still hasn't been a lot of news from around the world. And today was Martin Luther King Day in the States, which is a national holiday. So hopefully it'll all start in earnest from tonight and just start getting some more.
Well,
stories.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were leading into with that story was on the apple.com. They just got a big black and white picture of Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So they're celebrating. I'm not a big historian, a big history buff. I can't elaborate on. You might think I'm strange or dopey, but I don't really know what he did or what he was. Maybe you could quickly enlighten me. But
whippersnippers, I
don't know. As far as I know, was he some guy that advanced the cause of the black person over there? Something like that?
Yeah, he fought for equal rights for everybody.
Right.
So, yeah.
And he was assassinated or murdered or something?
Yeah. Someone disagreed with him and shot him, which tends to happen a lot in the States, unfortunately.
Yes.
So it's a national holiday for him to commemorate or to acknowledge his great work.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so good stuff. And, I had a question. Where's my question?
Where's that famous question?
Yeah, where
Wouldn't
is
be
it?
the same with...
What was that question? Someone sent me a question. Hang on a sec. Open up my emails. Here we go. Hang on. Sorry. I forgot I left it out, and I just thought I looked at the time. I thought we got a couple of minutes.
Yes, let's do it.
We might as well do the question. Now, that's if Michael can answer it without notice, of course. Now, the question comes from John down there in Sylvania Waters, probably next door to Nolene or somewhere. Is there parental apps so you can monitor what sites are being viewed on the, I guess the iPhone, the iPhones and iPads? So can you set the iPhone up somehow, or is there an app so you can go in later and go, okay, little Johnny's looked at this, he's looked at that, he's looked at this, he's looked at that. Have you, I think there's some sort of family setting on Windows where it'll tell you what sites the little kitty has been to. Have you ever heard of anything like that on the iOSs?
No, I haven't. There's a couple of like you can go back and look at their history. That's the first trick, which is pretty straightforward to do on that device.
Yeah. But nothing that jumps out. You haven't seen any apps?
No, because the app you would for the app to track it, it would have to either have its own browser.
Yes, right. Yep.
Which you can have fairly easily in an iPhone or a Google app. You can have your own browser in there. Or it would have to ask permission for. The operator would have to give that app permission for Safari to feed it back any data. But
right,
I can't think of any apps. I don't know of any apps that have would let you do that. I would just be, depending on the age of the person, is look at their history.
I think if you're worried about little Johnny, looking up something he shouldn't be looking up, I suppose the only thing I can really think of is something like the OpenDNS service. If you Google, I think it's just opendns.org or .com or something.
It depends on the age too, because you got the parental controls.
But that wouldn't stop
the
you.
Sort of sites that they can see or not see anyway.
But that wouldn't stop you Googling boobs and getting a full face full.
Don't know. Don't know, to be honest.
I think because I know YouTube has got a down the bottom. It's got a filter. You can set it to on, but that is also it's reflective of if the video was uploaded and the author had clicked adult video or something like that.
Put in the word, put in explicit or
whatever the term.
Explicit
yeah. I know. Put the podcasts. When you publish a podcast, you can tag it as explicit if you wish. I'm not sure if Apple actually enforces that or looks at that sort of thing. But I know that you can do it, and just because you don't want kids listening to rubbish, Like if you're putting out a podcast that's full of swear words, you really don't want a little 5-year-old listening to that. So it'd be a good idea to just tick the explicit, and then they hopefully will bypass it. But
because it's not necessarily you being honest. It's the first time that you get into trouble from Apple because someone's complained.
Yeah.
Report this site, which is really easy to do.
Yes. Yep.
This had swear words in it. Should be listed as explicit. Then they're going to,
Yeah.
Then they're going to come down on you. So
I reported one of those Facebook spam ads to Facebook once, and it was full on. It was full on front nudity. It was sex. It was just everything you could imagine. It was just there. And I'm going, this isn't really right, I saved it, but, I said, this isn't really right.
That's where you get your massage from now.
Yes.
There you go.
So I reported it, and about 2 months later, I get an email back from Facebook going, no, this is all right. This is all right. I'm going, are you serious? So I don't know what's going on over there at Facebook, but obviously it's just a bot that you're talking to. So I suppose if enough people had have objected, I suppose that's when they look into it. I guess there's some metric for it. I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
I've got a question without notice for you, Glenn.
Oh my God.
Actually,
I don't like questions without notice. Maybe you get an answer without notice.
So there's been a bit of kerfuffle the last couple of weeks because twice now, just recently, Google has public come out and said that there's these particular exploits in Windows.
Yes.
I think they're in Windows 7 and 8 or 8. And they've given Microsoft 90 days, and Microsoft is like they said, we've got a patch coming out, on our normal Tuesday.
Yes.
To the first one. Why they couldn't release it the previous Tuesday, I got no idea. Did they realise that it was going to happen and then they took 2 days to fix? I don't have an answer for that. But they also just did the same thing again where they'd obviously been given 90 days notice. Google only does 90 days. They don't give you 91 days or 93 days or 72 days. It's just...
Yep.
I've told you that there's an exploit. Here's the exploit. 90 days later, we're going to tell the world.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they've been doing. That if that's along Google's roadmap, I think it's 90 days is quite sufficient. I think it's up to Microsoft to pull the finger out of their butthole and fix these things.
Soon as they seem to fix it pretty quick. Well,
they've had 90 days.
Yeah.
But
then they say, Google should have given us an extra couple of days because it doesn't meet our Tuesday release date or whatever. Why didn't they release it the Tuesday before and it wouldn't...
in the month before.
The problem would have gone away, And as I think it was on one of Leo's shows, he said, they'd actually given Microsoft notice about an exploit, and it was like a year later, and that Microsoft hadn't done anything about it. This was, this was maybe 2005 or something. Whereas now, like Google say, this is 90 days is our map.
But the interesting, I'd like to know how Google come across how they find these things out. Like, is it just Google that finds it out, or does other people know about it as well as Google? And how does it work? Like, like you just want to know. I'd like to know how it does work. But I thought if there's an exploit there, I think 90 days, if it's a serious enough problem, and it must have been because Microsoft patched it quick smart after it was released to the wild. So obviously Microsoft should just be doing everything a bit faster.
Bit faster.
Yeah. Look, maybe they like to keep to their Tuesdays. Or so what is the first Tuesday in every month is their official patch.
Isn't it every Tuesday? I thought it was every Tuesday now.
Oh, is there that many bugs? I thought there was still the main one. The main one is the first Tuesday.
Tuesday of the month, yeah.
Yes. So look, the only explanation I could offer you would be that most of the time when an update comes through, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen like this on the Mac, but on the Windows, you've got to restart. And I think probably they're saying, well, people don't like restarting. Or, you don't like shutting down and, I've got an update here, for 5 minutes while I shut down. Yeah. So that does annoy me because sometimes you go to work on a computer or something and you've got these mandatory updates that have got to go through, before you can shut the thing down and restart it.
47 of them.
I don't get that. But I don't get that many. Unless the machine's just full of pox. But that's what I mean. I think they're weighing that up. Maybe restart against the vulnerability. Who's going to care if no one knows about it? Blah blah blah. But look, they've had 90 days, as you said. Why not fix it up in the first 30 and release it on the 60th day or something? Yeah. But no,
be a bit proactive.
Yeah, no, that's entirely Microsoft's ball there. I don't think Google's done anything wrong. I think they're well within their right. Well, the different company, who cares what they do? They can release it. They can release it straight away. But they're nice enough to give 90 days. So, yep, good on them.
And then I think Microsoft came back and said, but look at the exploit you got with, was it anything before Jelly Bean or something for Android?
Yeah.
Whereas Google have actually released a patch for it, but none of the phone manufacturers and none of the telcos have actually released a patch to anyone. That's because it's just not in their interest to look after something that's 2.5 years old.
Yeah,
they want you to buy a new phone now.
Yeah,
whereas at least Apple, because and they've changed the way they do those sort of patches to Google. Well, from that point, Jelly Bean onwards, they can actually do a direct. You can go to the Google Play Store and download the patch for it.
Yeah, well, it should be like that. And but like with the Apple stuff, you couldn't. They're probably still not working on like 3GS patches, are they?
No, but they I've got an iPhone 4 that I use. It's my second phone, and it's on. It won't go. It's iOS 7. It won't go to iOS 8.
Right.
Just going through it here just to double check on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think iOS 8. My mum's got an iOS 4.
4S. She's probably got.
I don't know. I think she might have a 4. Well, anyway, if it's not there for you, she must have a 4S.
Yeah, mine's version 7.1, so I can't do it. Yeah.
So that's it for you.
4S will go to 8.
Right.
So that's basically where we're back to. So, but it's only one version behind, isn't it? And that phone's what 4.
So what?
More than 4 years. That's 4 years old, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got the 5S, the 5.
Yep.
And the 4S, and then the 4. So
yeah. So it's going all right. I see. I've got another question. While you're there, while I've got you there,
while we're fighting over questions, yeah.
while I've got the free tech support on the phone, I've got my little iPhone 5S. Why would it be? Sometimes I plug it in, it doesn't charge. I plugged it into power, and it doesn't charge. And I plug it in the computer, and it'll charge. I don't understand. It's only just started happening.
Same cable,
different cable. I've swapped cables. Just don't know. It's just really starting to be intermittent. And then Kim said that her phone went like that before. It's starting to really die now. She's got a 4S. And, it goes from 90% to 20% and then turns itself off. So I'd say
that's battery.
Yep. Can you replace those?
Yeah.
Are they easy?
Yeah.
Worthwhile?
Yeah, pretty straightforward, yeah.
Is it worthwhile?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, what sub?
Well, what else is wrong with it? What else is wrong with the phone? Nothing.
Nothing. That's right. But like, if
Get the battery done.
yeah, but how? Like, what would you?
How
say?
much do you love her?
Well, I'm just going to say, how much in the ballpark would it be? Like, 200,
$60.
Oh,
To exchange
right.
the battery?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be worth it. I might ask you if she wants to do that.
That would
Yeah.
fix that problem. But yours, what I found was they're enforcing I think they're enforcing that made for iPhone cable issue.
You know, that's what went through my mind. Yeah, I thought, hello.
Because I thought, like I'm sure these cables used to work with my phone, and then after an update, they stopped working.
Right, yes.
And that's what I'm thinking. So if you have like a genuine Apple cable,
Yes.
genuine one,
Yes.
because I found out in those in the made for iPhone or made for iDevice cables, just the Lightning cables, there's 4 chips in there,
Yeah,
just
right.
in that little end.
Yeah, right.
There's like EEPROM, you know
Yeah, okay, right, yeah, right.
There's an EEPROM. There's a Texas Instrument chip that does something. So there's 4 chips in that little
Wow.
device.
Well, I'll show you. Where is it? I've got it. Oh, no. Here it is.
So I'd be, and it's hard to tell whether it's a genuine cable or not.
It is.
You know, unless you're 100% sure that it's.
I can't show you my cable because it's plugged into my phone at the minute.
Yeah.
But, yeah, look, that did go through my mind because I know I bought a few cheaper cables. But I don't think that's right. There was something else was it one of the stories this week that I had a little question. Oh, yeah, that iBooks thing. That's right. When I was looking at that story, when I was reading that story initially, I'm thinking, okay, they put iBooks, into pre-installed. How does that differ, say, then from Microsoft installing IE into their Windows? Is it different? So isn't Apple not forcing, but isn't they pretty much suggesting and directing you straight into iBooks rather than the Kindle or somewhere else? They're putting you straight. That's what Microsoft was doing, wasn't it? With the antitrust suits and rubbish and whatnot.
Well, it's also like if you go to Amazon, you can't actually buy anything from Amazon. You've got to go from the Kindle app out to Amazon to buy it, and then because of Apple taking their cut and
Right. Okay, right.
and choosing not to, that sort of thing. So they're not saying you can't have it on there. They're saying we take a cut if we do a sale directly.
Yes, but we
Or if you don't want to pay us a percentage, the same as credit card percentages and all that sort of stuff, they're saying here's the other opportunity, and that's.
But but wasn't it similar to IE and Windows? Like Windows, you didn't have to use IE, but people did because that was there.
Yeah, I know, but that's European Union crap, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, I think it spilled over to our crap after that as well. I think we all had to deal with that crap. But yeah, I don't know. Look, I was always on Microsoft's side for that. Like I just thought, these are the guys that actually built and constructed this software. Surely they can do what they want.
that's right.
They could put a nude picture of Bill Gates on everyone's homepage if they wanted to. They could do what they want.
If people didn't want to use it, there are other things
Exactly.
that they could go and do quite easily.
Exactly. There's all the nuffs. They didn't know how to do it. So
and it's
they were
just
forced to change.
That's what I mean. It's like there's a whole heap of things that they do in Europe these days that they're trying to enforce, which are just ridiculous crap. And that was probably the beginning of it.
Yeah. Rubbish.
And what about the David Cameron one this week? And then Obama's come out and said, "Well, I agree with him. That's what we'd like, but."
This is the banning WhatsApp and secured messages.
Just, he wants a backdoor into devices, whereas Apple and Android now encrypt basically everything on the phone.
Right.
So if you don't know what the passkey is,
no one knows.
And I choose not to tell you,
Yeah.
then
No one knows.
No one's ever going to find out what's on the phone.
No.
And it just goes downhill from there. And if you put a back door in, so let's say that Apple put a back door in, the baddies found it and took all the money. Does that leave Apple?
Yeah,
does Apple have to pay back all the money? Because Apple's got to pay back money when your kids buy stuff on the store.
Yes.
Because you've said, okay, that's all right, you can buy that, and then don't turn it off again. You know?
I think once the back door's created, the back door's there. That becomes a vulnerability, doesn't it? Like that's.
And then if someone steals 10 cents or $1,000 of my money or $20,000 of my money, who's going to pay from that back door? Who's going to give me my money back?
Yeah.
And how long have I got to go without my money?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Like,
yeah. Look,
if there's a back door there, someone will get into it.
Yeah, I think that maybe a better solution is maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't know. I think that, look, as much as you want to fight all this terrorism and all this sort of stuff, you can't do things like that. Like, it's the same as saying, like, it's not just for the digital world. It'd be the same as, say, that David Cameron coming out and saying, right, I believe that terrorists are communicating with each other through the post. I want every letter opened and read.
That's right.
You know, you can't do it. You can't do that. But maybe you'd like to, but you just can't do that. So, but anyway, all right, let's get out of here, Michael. It's we've gone over time. Everyone on the 40-minute trip to work, they've missed the last 10 minutes.
They're just driving around the block.
They are. They've missed the train stop. They've gone, oh, my stop was 10 minutes ago. What's going on? So engrossed in the Aussie Mac Zone. Good stuff. Good on yous. All right. Well, thanks for coming in. We'll see you and Jace next week, hopefully.
Yeah,
and
we'll be rocking.
Good stuff. And don't forget, if you got a review or something that if you want to point us in the direction of, give us a hoy, because Michael's amassing a few reviews, and we're going to release them soon, hopefully.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm going to have a talk to him right now about that. So,
oh no, I'm in trouble. I'm busy now. Bye.
Hard
Bye,
out.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, hard out. Okay. All right, so thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, people. Don't forget the AussieMacZone.com.au. Michael puts some stories up there every day. You can probably even subscribe to it somehow. I don't know if you can, but maybe I'll have a look and tell you next week. All right. So until you hear us again, it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night, Michael.
Good night.
All right. Good stuff.